In this video, I'm going to offer an explanation of what is business logic anyway, and why do I ask that? Well, when I was learning programming, a lot of times I heard about this business logic layer, and I'd say, well, what goes there? Well, business logic. What's business logic? You know, business rules. And I never really got a good definition. And for the longest time, I kind of had this idea that there was something that was called business logic, but I couldn't explain it to anybody. I finally understood it many, many years later when I started working in retail. And I could see the different layers, as you see on the screen here, and I could finally go into a service layer and see what business logic is. So, in this video, I'm going to describe an example of where you would see business logic and what it is. There's no code in this video, as we're really just considering the concept itself. So first of all, let's consider the layers that we'll traditionally see in an enterprise application. We'll have some type of UI or presentation. Could be HTML over a web page, could be an iOS app or an Android app or anything else like that. Then we have the controller. Now the controller is easy to visualize because that's one of the first things that we have to make, because the controller is serving the presentation layer. It's handling any endpoints, any events, or anything else that's related to interacting with our software. Let's skip over service or business logic for now and let's go to DAO. DAO is a natural layer to understand because we're essentially going to have one DAO for every table or every entity that we have in the database. Okay, fine grain, there we go. Now we have this idea of service class or business logic. These are, I hate to say it, but the business rules of our software. They're things that are too general to belong in a DAO. In other words, they might need input from several database tables to make a decision. So they might call on several DAOs to get that answer. They're also not related to any specific user interface, so we don't want to put them up here. Because if we think these days, a user interface could be web, iOS, Android, or even a RESTful service. So anything we put up here is bound to that specific user interface and can't be reused across others. Okay, so what does that leave for the service then? The service is going to do anything that is common across all of our different ways that we can interact, our different user interfaces with our application, so it shouldn't be in the presentation or the controller layer. And oftentimes, the service layer is going to do things that cross the boundaries of multiple database tables. So aggregating data from multiple DAOs and applying business rules. But what are business rules? Well, the example that I'm going to give in just one moment is buy one, get one free, a promotion you're probably familiar with if you've done any kind of shopping. That's a good example from the retail domain. From another domain, video games. Think about a video game. The persistence layer is a given. Usually, it's tied to a specific console. There's not a whole lot of database data it's going to need. So really, it's a lot of this business rule type data. Did I make the ball in the hoop? Did I press the video game controller at the right angle, at the right level, so on and so forth? These are business rules. And these will typically be elaborated early on in a requirements document. You might know this by the syntax, as a user, I want X so that I can do X. So now let's go back and consider that buy one, get one free promotion. How hard can that be? I mean, you buy one, you get one free. I mean, right? You buy a shirt, you buy a tie, you're going to get the tie free, right? Well, maybe. But what if you buy three things, a shirt, a tie, and the belt? Do you want to get the shirt, the tie, or the belt free? Well, because you have three things, but it's buy one, get one free, which assumes that you're buying an even number of things, but we know consumers don't work that way. Now what if we sell the shirt, the tie, the belt, and the lapel pin? Okay, now what do we give free? Do we order these based on value and give the two lowest free, or do we give the two highest free, or do we stagger them? Do we do a high and a low on a high and a low? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, geez. Okay, now wait a minute. Now we have a new rule. Buy one, get one free, limit 2 free items, and now the user has purchased 5 items. Okay, now we continue. The customer has now purchased 6 items, and we have buy one, get one free, limit 2. You see, the rules of the promotion we can easily get from the database. The prices, the products we can get from the database. But the decision here in each of these circumstances on which one do we give free, well, that's business rules. And that's what we're going to see in that service layer because it's going to aggregate all of these together. Now, We can also say some other things about buy one, get one free. Do we want to maximize the benefit to the customer? And you might think, what retailer ever does that? Well, actually, I can think of a very good case of that. There is a housewares retailer nationwide, and they often issue coupons in the mail. And my wife and I went up once with 4 coupons and 4 items, and we said, we want to do 2 separate orders. Let's do this on this order, and then the rest of the stuff, we had a bunch of other things in our cart. We'll do that on a different order. And the cashier said, is that because you want the coupons to go to the highest value items? And we said, yes. And she said, oh, it does that automatically. So in that case, the retailer knows that the customer can make that happen. They've decided to go ahead and maximize the benefit to the customer because that customer spends less time checking out because the customer is just going to have one order, not 2 separate orders. So we can have some other rules as well. Exclude other promotions, exclude prior discounts. And you see, as we get to these other rules and these other combinations of rules, we start to get to more and more tables. Products, promotions, promotion metadata, and price. So that's logic that we don't want to put at the DAO layer because it needs to know about multiple tables. But it's also logic that we do not want to put at the controller layer. And here's the risk. If we did it once for iPhone, once for Android, once for web, and once again for RESTful service, what if we made a mistake in one of those? Then our customers are going to see one price on iPhone, another one on Android, maybe another one on web, and naturally they're going to get really frustrated, confused. They're going to call us, and they're going to get someone in a call center who has no idea why that happens. So that's why we have that service layer sandwiched between the two, so that it can do this logic data with multiple tables, and we don't have to repeat it in the presentation and in the controller layer. So that's a look at what business logic is. As always, I hope this video has been helpful, and I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you.